Okay, guys, welcome to the latest update here. We're at level 75, actually almost 76 here, and we're doing pretty
Contracts?
good on expeditions. I think we left off finishing champion. I finished master, and almost halfway through paragon, and I'm not having much trouble. Build
Purple
has
Phoenix.
definitely changed up a
Always new.
bit. Let's just look at character real quick. I'm still dumping most points in ferocity, some in toughness. Um, I was thinking about actually dumping some points into wisdom for the alignment. I mean, element chance, but I don't think that actually matters. When I'm fighting tankier enemies like bosses and stuff, I noticed that the elements apply the max stacks, which you can see here. My max stacks are 20. Uh, I apply a lot of weakness. You'll see the stasis and curse. I can get all three of these going. Curse doesn't seem to be applying as efficiently as these others two, but it still does. And if you're wondering what these do, so you can just hover over here and you can read what they do when they're applied to your enemies. And that's what the elements do. I might make a separate video on these. You can see each different type does something different. So there's that. Let's look at our skills. The skills have definitely changed up. If you noticed, our anomaly is now yellow, and we're using solar flare instead of infinity blades. Um, and the reason why is because with infinity blades, uh, it puts us at higher risk of taking damage. And with one of the passive tree changes, I want to try to keep from taking damage. And so I'm going to start looking also for an affix for dodge chance on gear, maybe. Because a dodge completely mitigates damage. You can manually dodge, obviously, but a passive dodge mitigates it as well. But anyways, let's talk about this. So Plague Burst, we switched it over to ether damage, so we switched 3 points into this. And the reason why is if you come over here and look, so if we leave it here over on the default one here, our average damage is 5,700 basically. I don't know why that says error. Good old Wolcen in their bug-free game, right? Anyway, so our average damage goes up 1,500 or so. So that's pretty good by switching over here, and also um, it's supposed to be see this doesn't always work right, but this is supposed to be applying on elements toxic. And so this changes to stasis and weakness is what it's supposed to do. I don't know why it's erroring out right now, but anyways, and here are the points we're spending. Just kind of hover and let you read. Okay, here's anomaly. Now we also changed anomaly from uh, over here. We spent 3 points and changed it to sacred damage. And the reason why is because even though it was applying stasis and weakness, I wanted more curse because the curse is almost kind of the element you really want, because curse actually increases the damage received affected on your target. So if we get 20 stacks of cursed on our enemy, that's more damage they're receiving. So basically it increases our damage. Um, Stasis just slows our movement, attack, and spell casting, and weakness um, decreases the damage they're doing to us. So they're all good to have on the enemy, but curse helps us kill them quicker. So we switched up. We're doing area effect. We're doing the damage that pulled in the vortex, skill duration, and then it pulls them multiple times. We're not doing two anymore. We can only cast one of these.
Can't do that.
Oh, and also on Plague Burst, we changed it to where it's not on us. We can cast it somewhere. so that way we can put everything all on top of each other instead of having it follow me. Havoc Orb, I hadn't changed it up any. It's applying burn. I can't. It doesn't matter. You can't change that. Default is burn and weakness. This is burn and weakness. Our damage is just up because we're doing occult damage. So applying sacred damage with it, it's going to, of course, increase our damage. Lightbringer is the same. Actually, let's go and we're just doing the 2 projectile nodes and then the one that clusters on Havoc Orb. Lightbringer's the same as well. So this is our healing. It heals allies and ourselves when we land. This leaves an area effect, damages enemies. This applies weakness. Without this, it still applies weakness, but it gives us a 100% chance. This gives a buff, all resist, and this stuns. So we get 100% stun and 100% weakness. So if we land on a boss enemy or a lead pack or something, we automatically get I believe 20 stacks of weakness, and we get stun on them. So it's decreases the damage they're doing to us and stuns them, so we can start working on them. Here's Ether. I'm not sure if I changed it up any, but it's pretty much the same. It's just our mobile skill. The main thing is you want to be able to remove crowd control, so if you get frozen or something, can hit Ether and get out of it. That's really one of the main pieces for it. And then this one also lets us just kind of bounce around all over the place. And the skill we have now that we're using, it works pretty well, even though it's 20 levels lower. So each level increases its damage as you already have. So once you get the max points, each level after that just increases its damage. So even though Solar Flare is a little bit behind my other ones since I just switched to it recently, it still keeps up pretty well. And we'll kind of go over this. So this is just increasing the damage over time with it. This increases the tick rate, so it goes faster. So it just applies damage in ticks faster, basically. This increases the damage. This one, this one allows it to be static. So without this one, you have to hold it down. So, like, you have to hold it down. If I click it, that's all it does. So this skill is a must. Or else you have to hold it down and now you're stationary. Then that defeats the whole purpose of what we're trying to do, not take damage. And this is just increase the skill damage, and then we're swapping it, of course, over to shadow damage. Our damage just goes up by 1,000 with this skill. So let's talk about the passive tree here real quick. I can't remember what all I have talked about in the previous video, but I know I had some points in this life leech here. I removed those. I removed the this point here into additional radius for picking up health globes. It's a nice to have, but it's not fitting into my build right now. All these other points right here are practically the same. I was going into this node last time, and let me explain why I'm not anymore. I was using it, but we kill things so quickly. It hurts us more than we gain positive from it. So it just doesn't make any sense to use. So we changed. So we just took that out of the build, and we swapped it over to this node here. We'll talk about that in a second. But we put points in here. And this is just increasing our damage. And this increases our damage per curse stack. It's not a whole lot, 2%, but that's still more. And this gives us an additional 1%. So, and then I decided to come this way instead of this way because this is just force shield regeneration, and this increases our force shield. So, and we get all resist. This gives us projectile damage and force shield, and a passive dodge chance. But that doesn't actually take effect until we have a piece of gear that has a dodge chance on it. But and this one is the same as this one, so it doesn't matter which way you go. I wish they would have changed that up so you had an option instead of, it just doesn't make any sense to have the same exact node. Force shield, and then this one. This is the juicy one. This is the one reason why we don't want to take any damage. So this is called acute tracking, and when you stay in combat and avoid enemy hits to gain cold-blooded points every few seconds and increase your damage. So you get a cold-blooded point every 2 seconds while in combat without taking a hit. Each cold-blooded point gives you 5% damage, so that means we can have a total of 50% damage boost without taking any damage. Sometimes it's hard because if you have enemies that are ranged, and some of the projectiles are real small, it's hard to see. You would definitely take damage. We can also switch up. I think Anomaly has a skill in here somewhere. Projectiles are destroyed in Anomaly's area effect. We could probably maybe switch up into this so that way we have a less chance of getting hit by those, but it's not a huge deal. But this also lets you see what cold-blooded points you have. Each little dot will turn green when you have a cold-blooded point, and that's 5% damage. It's definitely a big boost. If you're wondering when you're using it and you see this increase, you can just hover over one of your skills and you see the damage increase. Let's just look at our skills. I happened to find this pistol. It was actually quality level 3 yellow item. It had the fire, frost, and sacred damage on it, which is really good because it doesn't matter whether there's elemental, material, or occult damage that's applied on attacks on this weapon, because spells use base damage to increase their damage. So having higher damage stats on your weapon will increase your spell damage, and this is pretty good. So then I just converted it. So what I did with this gun when I found it is I have this gun here, which is pretty decent, just not as good as this one. I used that one temporarily while I came into the dark market, increased the quality up to 5 stars, and then I increased the rarity to legendary. And I'm starting to do that. I think I got a pair of pants in the quality upgrade right now, and that's how we're going to start getting legendaries. And you can also kind of start crafting as well, just to improve gear, because it's too much RNG waiting for good gear to drop. You can find some gear with decent stats and add affixes on them and increase the quality and switch them to legendary, and that gives you a total of 6 affixes you can have on it. So pistol's pretty good, increases our damage a lot. Our catalyst still the same. It's a pretty good catalyst. I doubt I'm going to find a better one here anytime soon. I'm probably going to have to craft one. Boots. We'll just hover over the gear real quick, and then we'll talk about some stuff. Just to kind of give you an idea, just going to see what I have. So in this game, I'm not 100% sure how the resistances. So I had switched some stuff up a bit. So I was using the resistant gems, right? And I think without the resistant gems, my health is around 19-20k or something like that. I mean, without these maximum health gems, right? But I seem to stay alive more with the maximum health gems than the resistant gems. when they take massive damage. In most ARPG games, you want to max out resistances. We'll probably work on that later, but it's just at this current stage, it seems to be better to have the maximum health gems. Still going with the transfer time gems in our supports, except for my amulet, because I got a nicely rolled amulet. And then what I did was I put the transfer time gem in there, and then I didn't have the transfer time willpower gem, and then I put this on here with the transfer time gem in the crafting table, and we have that affix on there now, so now we can use that to increase our sacred damage. Just put that gem in there, which is nice. We have this still doing all resist. We could probably change that to max health too, but it helps. Resistance do help. They mitigate the damage you're taking. So, and then we just have the sacred gems in here. So let's that's pretty much. If you have any questions about the build, leave them in the comment section. I'll go over them. Let's go take a look. Let's just do the highest level. Alright guys, here we are at a level 142. That's the highest level I can go. We're going to kind of showcase and see what this build can do. And we pretty much melt. This guy's tankier for some reason than most of the trash mobs. My controls cut. What is going on here? I think I have my DPI button by accident. Anyways, back on track. And we melt these trash mobs pretty quickly. We got our 10 called of blooded points. We got, of course, Mr. Tricky here. That wants to always disappear. Now that we got him stunned. And now he's going to pop up and try to trap us. So we got to watch for that.
You've been outmatched.
It's not like we weren't doing damage to him. He just, the way he goes underground like that, then he moves away from our stuff.
Not right now.
I think what's going to be key with this build is having a cooldown reduction. To be honest with you, because having that stat, we're going to be able to apply Anomaly Lightbringer quicker. We want to keep enemies off of us with Anomaly. I didn't see the that guy there. And we just melted them. It would also be nice to have Liver Mortis with us.
I need more power.
Because he would take some of the aggro. But we don't have enough skills to do that.
That's not happening.
And so this is good because we kind of suck them all into one spot, and then we could dump our rage into back into willpower and do even more damage with havoc. So it's just so good. And we'll just see if it tests over times. 187 I think is the highest. So we'll see how well this holds up.
It's not.
But I have a feeling it does. So I think that's going to be more gear dependent, though. The higher you get, the better gear you want, and that's going to really tell you it's what's going to increase your damage and keep you surviving.
Can't manage that right now.
I don't really care about that red enemy. He's probably the guy that wants to move around everywhere.
More power.
Typically, I'd probably go for him. Oh, we got a 3-pack up here. Probably blue enemies. Oh no, they're all red.
Not happening. Not.
Took him out with not much of a problem. We did lose our cold-blooded, but still was able to take him out and get cold-blooded points. So we have almost full points. Oh, we got full points. Okay, nice. Here we go. See how we do with the boss here.
Not happening.
See, we had 20 weakness and curse.
I need more power.
And see, the weakness is the I can't hover over it, but we're getting curse. But we're not getting as much curse either with that, but they're not really taking much damage. And he's dead. So that's how this build works so far. I'm sure there'll be some more changes and tweaks. So come back to the next video if you want to see the updated video here, probably level 80, maybe 85, because we're getting close. It does take quite a bit to get the XP in these later levels. But if you have any questions about the build, if you want to see any additional content for Wolcen, just let me know. Leave the comment down below. Appreciate every one of y'all. Peace out, everybody.